Drugstore giant prescription benefit manager CVS Caremark just announced a $1.25 billion deal to purchase a unit of the insurer Universal American Corporation. Now, the deal could bolster CVS's pharmacy benefits business, which has seen sales decline for 2 straight quarters. Overall, CVS's third quarter profits were down 20%, but keep in mind the stock is up 18% since the middle of November, more than double the growth of the S&P 500. Joining us right now in an exclusive interview is CVS Caremark's Chief Financial Officer. He's Dave Denton. Dave, great to be talking with you again. You know, when I saw the deal on New Year's Eve, I thought, okay, this deal makes sense. Why, though, this company? Why this timing in terms of doing it?
Well, Carol, first of all, thank you for inviting me onto your program, and Happy New Year to you. First of all, you know, this deal is very important to us strategically because it really doubles our presence in the Medicare space. And if you think about healthcare today, you think about what's going to drive the next decade in healthcare. Really, Medicare is a core component of that. You think about the population aging into the Medicare space and increasing utilization, number one. And number two, you think about healthcare reform with more people having access to prescription drugs, and that will come largely in the form of Medicare and Medicaid. So this is a very strategic, important piece of growth for our business going forward.
I wonder, you know, considering the recent change in the House in Washington, what do you think about uncertainty coming out of Washington? I mean, they're expected to pass a symbolic repeal of the health care reform law that can't obviously go much further because of the Senate and the White House. But is there a lot of uncertainty out there that you think needs to be settled, or do you feel like it's smooth sailing ahead as far as regulation?
Well, I think, you know, we obviously keep very mindful of regulations and make sure that we're well positioned for that. But I think the good thing about our business, if you think about healthcare in general, prescription drugs are a great cost-effective method for treating ailments. So if you think about it today, investing in healthcare dollars today saves a lot of healthcare expense over the long term. So a dollar invested today over 10 years saves about $7 in total health care costs for consumers and payers. So from a healthcare reform perspective, pushing into prescription utilization is a very productive use of assets in dollars.
Hey, Dave, if I may, I want to go back to the deal for a little bit because the acquisition cost was $1.25 billion. You guys lost about $3.7 billion in contracts. That caused your stock to drop back in November of 2009. It was the biggest drop in about 8 years. So I guess I'm just curious. I'm trying to kind of work it through. How much does this deal kind of help make up for that loss?
Well, Carol, I think just put this deal aside. I think as we've talked in the past, is we've had a great sales and renewal season as we entered 2011. We're going to grow the Caremark top line next year by probably in upwards of 20%. And that is really for around the fact that we've had great retention of our clients. Our clients are completely satisfied with the services and products that we offer to them. Secondly, we announced earlier in the year a joint venture or a venture collaboration with Aetna, which is one of the premier healthcare companies in the country. That alone will add about 10 million members to our PBM population. So we're going into 11 really with adding lives to our PBM business, and we're looking very productively at that.
What do you think about? I'm going to go back to regulation.
I know we're kind of going all over because there's so many things to talk to.
If you don't mind, what do you think about Dave? Regulation that flex spending accounts can only be used for over-the-counter drugs if they have a prescription for those. I mean, I would think that's a nightmarish piece of regulation for you.
Well, I think I do think that it would be nice to have flexible spending accounts such that they could support over-the-counter without prescriptions. But keep in mind, again, is we already have programs in place to support productive utilization of both over-the-counter medications, as well as, more importantly, looking to therapies that are low cost but quite effective. And so we have a lot of programs in place today that allow people to shift from branded medications that are typically high cost to more cost-effective generic products. And that's really somewhat of the core of our philosophy of driving value to both consumers and to payers.
Hey, Dave, if I may, and something you and I talked about back in November, we talked about the investigations that are ongoing by various regulators, antitrust regulators, and so on.
Sure.
I mean, do you anticipate that this is going to get wrapped up in 2011 and maybe sometime soon?
No, I do think it will get wrapped up and completed in 2011. Keep in mind that, yeah, we've had regulators look at our business in the past, but I think what's important to really step back at is our strategy is really centered on 3 business principles. One is making sure that we have access to health care for all the populations that we serve. 2 is making sure that that access is cost effective. And 3, putting in together programs and processes that improve the health outcome of those populations that we serve. And we have many programs that are supportive of improving adherence in the populations, again, that we serve, and in closing gaps in care in patients that are out in the marketplace.
Well,
So we think broadly our programs are pretty well aligned to those principles.
And forgive me for interrupting, Dave. I guess some were wondering, why do this deal when you guys are still under scrutiny by regulators? Did that actually make you at all nervous or not?
No, I think, again, the Medicare space is a growing and productive and important segment for us that's really going to fuel growth for the next decade. And so we think it's very critically important for us to be a big player in that space, number one. Number 2, what we're doing in that space is, again, improving health outcomes for the patients that we serve and ultimately lowering costs for those patients. So we think that this can be very productive for us.
What do you think, Dave, about being able to pass cost increases on to customers? I mean, have you seen cost increases for the things that you buy, and are you able to pass those on to customers who are still, I would assume, worried more about cost than convenience since the recession?
Right. It's interesting. I think some other retailers have been talking broadly about increases in cost. And I think largely speaking, we have not seen that kind of increase as other people have experienced. But I would say that the consumer today is very cost conscious. They are shopping for promotional items and shopping for value. And I think what you've seen in our business is our private label product and private label penetration has really accelerated throughout the recession here. So that's been really good for us. It's been a little bit of a headwind from a top line perspective, but great from a margin expansion perspective.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Dave, thank you so much. Dave Denton, and a Happy New Year to you as well. Dave Denton, he's the Chief Financial Officer of CVS Caremark Corporation.
All right.